it's Kelsey. Today I'm here with a highly requested video on our baby carrier stash. I have been baby wearing Nolan since he was like 3 or 4 days old. We got him from the hospital and the very next day I stuck him in the carrier because I had things to do, and it has just been kind of a lifesaver for me. I have worn him around the house. I have worn him at sporting events, at concerts, on walks, grocery shopping, just to get anything done. The child has never liked being in a stroller. He's never napped in a stroller, never spent a long period of time like shopping or walking around an event in a stroller. He wants to be held, and so for me, that's where carriers come in, and I have tried so many different kinds of carriers. There are a lot of carriers that I have tried that you won't see in this video because I have since donated, sold, or traded them for something else. But since I've become more heavily pregnant with Sawyer, I have not been baby wearing Nolan as much, so I have not been having the itch to like buy, sell, trade because I haven't been using them to like pique my curiosity about other things. There are a couple of different styles of carrier that I have, and I will give kind of a mini review of each, but these won't be like full in-depth reviews. I'm just going to show you what we have. So the first thing I will start with is this ring sling. I'm not going to take it out of the package. You can see there on the picture what it looks like. This is the Maya Wrap ring sling. With Nolan, I had a Hava ring sling. It is sold by a local like Houston-based cloth diapering, like natural parenting sort of store. I believe they're the ones that like made up this brand, the Hava ring sling. It's just I don't know the name of the material. It's not the sort of like woven material. As he got bigger, I didn't find it particularly comfortable because it was not, the type of material just was not the most supportive. Whenever he was very little, I got it when he was about 2 months old. Whenever he was very little, I did like it. I like a ring sling for quick carries, running in and out of the grocery store for a couple of things, or the post office, or just throwing it on around the house, walking to the mailbox, that sort of thing. For a longer period of time, I personally don't like a ring sling just because, you know, a lot of the pressure there is on the one shoulder, and for me, whenever I spread the shoulder out, I do have kind of some constricted movement in that arm. So for longer periods of time, I am not the biggest fan of a ring sling, but for convenience sake and the fact that it just folds up really small and I can stuff it in my diaper bag or in the seat pocket in my car and just always have it on hand, I do like that. And so for that reason, I have justified having a ring sling in my stash. And this is something that I have purchased new for Sawyer. It's a used carrier, but I purchased it new to use. So the Maya Wrap ring sling is more of a woven wrap material. I used woven wraps with Nolan, and I no longer have any. I had 3 different ones with him. I've since sold them all. And woven wraps I find very supportive, but I'm just not a wrapper in terms of spending the time to like wrap the material and do the carries. I like something like this that's already like in place and I can just pop my baby in. So that is the ring sling I have. Now, I would say that my absolute favorite style of carrier out of all the types of carriers that I've tried, and I've tried every single type of carrier, maybe not every brand, that sort of thing, but every different type of carrier. My favorite type is a Maytai, and that is something that is more of a traditional style carrier. My very first carrier that I used with Nolan was a Baby Hawk Maytai and Maytai, Maytai. I'm going to go back and forth on saying those because I always like use the terms interchangeably. I think that it's officially pronounced Maytai, but a lot of people say Maytai. Yeah, we'll go with it. Okay, so there was the Baby Hawk Maytai, and I absolutely loved it. Colby absolutely loved it, and the cool thing about the Baby Hawk Maytai is that you can use it from birth through, you know, as your child grows. So to be full disclosure right now, I am actually a brand ambassador for Baby Hawk Maytai, and basically what that means is that I applied for this. She was looking for people that like to baby wear, like her carriers, and all it means is that I just wear my Baby Hawk with my baby, and if people ask me questions, I just answer questions about the brand and teach them about the carrier. So there's no like sort of being paid to do it. This is not a sponsorship or anything like that. It's just, you know, I really like the brand, and so I just kind of have a partnership with her in spreading the word about how much I love them. So this is genuine and honest, and I really do love the Baby Hawk Métis, and the one that I have to use with Sawyer, because I had a different print with Nolan, but this time I have this one, and this is their Ahoy style print, and I will insert a picture now of what this carrier actually looks like on. This is a carrier you can use on the front or back, and there are many different ways to tie it. Something that I love about the Métis carriers is that there's no buckles to adjust between users. So as Colby and I trade off wearing Nolan or Sawyer, we're very different sized people, so we don't have to adjust things. So I really like that. Again, I also like that you can use these from birth. You just fold up the bottom of this to make the this panel smaller, you know, for a smaller sized baby. And then as your baby gets bigger, you can unfold the panel, and then it's longer for them. This is these things right here on the straps are their suck pads, or I think they're called their O-spit pads, and that is babies really tend to like chew on the straps as they're in the carrier, and so this just kind of protects your straps. So we have this one, and then we also have a toddler size one that Colby has been using a lot lately with Nolan. So I have not been wearing Nolan because I am almost 9 months pregnant, and my pelvic muscles and everything are very weak, and I have been told by my doctor to try and limit lifting and carrying and that sort of thing, just because of you know, worries about things. So I got Colby a toddler, because there's a baby hawk and a toddler hawk, and this Nolan is in the 90th percentile for height, and I will insert a picture now of Colby wearing Nolan in this, so you can see that he still has like a lot of room in terms of height to go in the panel of this carrier. So I'll insert that picture now. As you can see, it's the same style carrier, although Colby, he sent in his own fabric to have this designed. One side is the Houston Texans football team, and one side is Dallas Cowboys. I know fans of either team are probably like, how can you possibly like both teams? Colby likes all Texas sports teams. He's not like for or against any except the Aggies. Sorry, Aggies. But having a Longhorn wife, you gotta go with that. So yeah, anyways, he has this, and he also got it with extra long straps, because he is just a, you know, taller, bigger, like muscular guy, and so having these extra long straps allows him to tie it in a couple of different ways for more support. So those are our Métis carriers. I also have something that is called a wrap conversion Métis, and that is a woven wrap, which is just the big piece of material that I had converted into a Métis style carrier. And this one is by a work-at-home mom brand called Two Mamas Designs. I'm not going to say too much about the brand because I wouldn't necessarily recommend it in terms of customer service. There was just some kind of weird things that happened. But I do like the carrier, and mine is a half buckle. So what that means is I have the regular straps here. This is the hood that kind of goes up. I have these regular style Métis straps. They spread out like a woven wrap would, but here on the waist it actually buckles, so you don't tie the waist. Now this is will not fit a smaller baby. This I got when Nolan was like 10 or 11 months old. It was my birthday present, and he fit in it then. So this is for an older infant to almost toddler size, and I also got it with a petite waist, so Colby cannot wear this. So I do like this. Like I said, Métis style carriers are my favorite. I do find this very comfortable, but I don't, when you're ordering a carrier like this and having it made, there are so many specifications to it that at least with this company, it's not something that will be like a birth to toddlerhood carrier. So there's that. And then the last two carriers I have to show you are soft structured carriers. I would say probably the most commonly like commercially available brand in terms of soft structured carriers, which would be the buckle carriers, would be like the Baby Bjorn or the Ergo. I have used an Ergo before. I have not used a Baby Bjorn. I've also used a Boba carrier. The Boba I traded off with somebody, and the Ergo I sold to buy the Becco Gemini, which I'm about to show you. The Ergo, for me personally, I have like a pretty petite frame, and I just could not get the shoulder straps quite tight enough as I lost all the baby weight. When I first got it and was wearing him, as I was still losing the weight, it fit okay, but once I got down to my pre-pregnancy size, I did have a hard time getting the straps tight enough to where it didn't kind of like pull away from my body. I had the same experience with the Boba when he was in the back carrier. So on the front carry, it was very comfortable. I did like the Boba better than the Ergo, but I did have some trouble with the back carry in terms of not being able to get the straps tight enough and it pulling away from my body. So what we do have is the Beko Gemini. This is what it looks like. This part here comes up for as your baby gets bigger, and you don't need the panel snap down. Also, this kind of comes up and clips into here if you want to maybe nurse and have kind of a little bit more of a cover over you. Something else about this carrier that's kind of cool is the side, the actual body of the carrier. I'll just do one side, it's kind of hard to explain. Snaps in, so you can see the comparison there from side to side. It snaps in, so you can use it with a, actually it snaps out this way. You can use it with a newborn without a newborn insert. So this is like a newborn to, bigger baby carrier. I will say that around 9 months or so, Nolan, who at the time was pretty average, probably like 60 to 70 percentile in terms of weight and height, this did start to outgrow him in terms of the base. The proper way for a baby to be carried is for the base of the carrier to run knee to knee on them, so they're sitting, in a seat. And he kind of just started to outgrow the seat in terms of this. But this is a carrier that, like I said, you can use with a newborn and without a newborn insert, and you just snap in things and make the adjustments. And Colby really did like this. I also liked this because I could get the straps tight enough, and you can also wear the straps crossed for just an easier or a more snug fit if you are smaller framed. So this fit both me, who is a pretty petite frame, and Colby, who is a more stocky, like muscular, larger frame. So this was Colby's favorite soft structured carrier. In terms of carriers as a whole, we both prefer the Métis, but just for a buckle carrier, this was his favorite. Now, something new that I am trying with Sawyer, this is something that I just recently purchased, and I purchased it used, is a Tula baby carrier. And this is the one I got. It is the ukulele print. I think this is a discontinued print. I bought this used. It came with the suck pads. I was looking for a boyish print. These things sell out very, very quickly whenever they do stock in stores. And I really did like this print. I did get this for a really good price because there are a couple of stains. I'm trying to find them. Like discoloration. I can't even find them. I can't remember where they are. Oh, like here on the straps. There's some discoloration, and so I did get this for a really good price. This is not something that you just put on and use with a newborn. They do require a newborn insert, although I've seen a lot of people just be able to roll up a receiving blanket to boost their baby up and use them. And then this company does make a toddler size for once your baby is much bigger. But this is the same concept as, like an Ergo or a Boba, the Beko Gemini. They're soft structured carriers. So I bought this one most recently. It was kind of my last baby purchase for this baby. So I can tell you more about how I like that once I use it. But that is our baby carrier stash. If you want to see more in-depth reviews of each of these carriers, once Sawyer is born, I can show you guys how to use them, or pros and cons, what I'm really liking, what I'm not. I would be more than happy to do that video because I do really enjoy talking about baby wearing and teaching people about it. It's not something that I'm fundamentally worship baby wearing. For me, it's just made my life easier because, like I said, my child does not like the stroller, and whenever he does walk, he tends to get a little crazy and run off on his own. But he really, really enjoys being carried, especially now that he's 2. He loves being carried on the back. And so it's just something that's made our lives a lot easier. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or requests, about these specific carriers or future videos, let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye. Hey guys, it's Kelsey. Today I am here with a highly requested video on our baby carrier stash. I have been baby wearing Nolan since he was like 3 or 4 days old. We got him from the hospital, and the very next day I stuck him in the carrier because I had things to do, and it has just been kind of a lifesaver for me. I have worn him around the house. I have worn him at sporting events, at concerts, on walks, grocery shopping, just to get anything done. The child has never liked being in a stroller. He's never napped in a stroller, never spent a long period of time like shopping or walking around an event in a stroller. He wants to be held, and so for me, that's where carriers come in, and I have tried so many different kinds of carriers. There are a lot of carriers that I have tried that you won't see in this video because I have since donated, sold, or traded them for something else. But since I've become more heavily pregnant with Sawyer, I have not been baby wearing Nolan as much, so I have not been having the itch to like buy, sell, trade because I haven't been using them to like pique my curiosity about other things. There are a couple of different styles of carrier that I have, and I will give kind of a mini review of each, but these won't be like full in-depth reviews. I'm just going to show you what we have. So the first thing I will start with is this ring sling. I'm not going to take it out of the package. You can see there on the picture what it looks like.